Okay, just give me 1 second. Are we live? I'm checking. Give me 1 moment. Okay, I think we're live. Hello, everyone. I'm Victoria, the acquisitions editor for Goodly Heritage Press. I'm here with Jennifer Jennings, the author of Dotty Makes a Difference, and we will later be joined with our illustrator as well. So hi, everybody. Thank you for joining. If you are here during the live at any point, leave a comment in the comment section. And then once we see the comments at the end, we're going to choose one person who will be getting a free copy of Dotty Makes a Difference, as well as a illustration art print from the Illustrator. So that's super exciting. But for now, welcome. We're so excited to talk about our debut picture book today. We're going to go ahead and jump right into the questions for our author. And then once our illustrator comes in, we'll do an introduction with her, and then we'll go from there. So, hi, Jennifer. Our first question is just pretty much an introduction. Just tell us a little bit about yourself as an author, a little bit of your writing journey, and what brought you here to write Dotty Makes a Difference.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited about this new book. It's a little bit of a different project for me. I'm not a new author. I've been writing for about 15 years, but I mainly write biblical historical fiction. So I take stories from the Bible and kind of fill out the cultural and historical world around them to kind of give them some more context. So that's one of my favorite things to write. But I decided to dip my foot into the world of children's picture books. And so this is the debut novel in that genre. And I love writing. It's one of my favorite things to do. I love to research and write and connect with other writers. So I'm really, really excited to be here and talk about Dotty Makes a Difference.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. We're excited to have you here. And we've loved seeing Dotty evolve from the first draft you submitted to the final book that it is now. So that's been a really fun process. You kind of already touched a little bit on the next question, but I understand that you talked about how you wrote in a different genre before the picture book. So what was that like transitioning from the genre of biblical fiction to writing a picture book? So what kind of, just maybe describe briefly the kind of challenges that you faced. What was that like to have that kind of jump?
Yeah, that was a very different journey that God took me on to write this book. Kind of the inspiration behind Dottie was I was going to a writers' conference, one of my very first writers' conferences, and I wanted to enter a contest for the first time. I'd never entered a writing contest before. And the only caveat was that wasn't allowed to enter into the category that I wrote in and that I published in. So I had to pick a completely different genre, and that was kind of scary for me. I had always written in biblical fiction, so I wasn't really sure what to do. But God kind of inspired the story and kind of the seeds of this story. And then I had a nephew who was born around the same time that I was writing the story, who, due to some birth complications, lack of oxygen to his brain, actually had some pieces of his brain that died, and so we knew he was going to have a very different life than most babies and most young children. So I really wanted the story to kind of walk through that journey of what it's like to be someone who's very different than the people who surround you. So God kind of put the story on my heart. I started working through it. I entered it into the contest, and it ended up winning third place in children's picture books. So that was
Yeah.
a lot of confirmation for me. And also at the very same time, they found a zebra out in the wild who actually had spots instead of stripes. She
Yeah.
wasn't the first, but she was very unique. And it was just more and more of a God thing that, God can do anything that he wants to do. And for him to drop a little baby newborn zebra out there in the world that was exactly like the one that I was writing, was just, such a cool God moment, a lot of confirmation for me. But it was a big challenge to write in this space for the very first time
Yeah.
because it's such a new genre for me. I had to learn so
Hmm.
much about this genre in order to write and publish in it.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I know it was probably a big learning curve. But we're glad that you took the leap because now we have Dottie. And I love that book does help children walk through that, especially as they get older and they start to recognize more that those differences are out there. So I love that Dottie will be there for them when that time comes. It does look like our illustrator has arrived. Hi, welcome, April. That's April
Hi.
Hernandez, our illustrator for Dottie Makes a Difference. So welcome to our live today. We're so happy that you're here. Since you did pop in, we're gonna take a quick break, let Jennifer catch her breath for a second. And April, we're gonna let you go ahead and introduce yourself. So just a quick introduction. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey as an artist and what eventually brought you here to us to be able to illustrate Dottie.
Okay, well, my name is April Hernandez, and I have been an artist for as far back as I can remember, even sitting in the elementary school steps of my elementary school, drawing stick figures and making comic strips with my stick figures. So I've been drawing and painting ever since I was little, and I took a lot of art classes in school, along with advertising design in my junior and senior year of high school, which I really enjoyed a lot. I found I had a love for lettering at that time. And I still enjoy drawing, hand lettering, everything. So I started there, and then I did end up going to college, Kendall School of Art and Design. I think it's called something different now in Grand Rapids, Michigan, for about a year. And then after that, I got married, so I never went back. So I ended up getting married and raised my family for 3 years and served with my husband in the ministry for 25 of those years when we were in the ministry together. And I really, really enjoy painting and designing. And after I got married, I didn't dabble too much in painting. I didn't have time. I had 5 daughters, so I really didn't have time to do much. Any of my art that I used or talent that I used for the ministry at that time with brochures and all kinds of things like that. And then in 2015, I went through a really difficult time of losing my husband, and I picked up my paintbrush again, and I started journaling in my Bible to first, and then I moved on to creating an Etsy shop for scripture bookmarks and journals. And I put that down a few years back because I wanted to dabble more in actual painting and illustrating. And so that's how I've entered paintings in exhibits here locally in a couple art galleries. And I've received an honorable mention and the People's Choice Award for a couple of my paintings, which was real exciting for me because I was just starting out in that realm. And so yeah, so I haven't looked back, and I really enjoy illustrating, and I enjoy if you see my Instagram, I'm illustrating everything every day, quotes and Bible verses, and then just painting too. So that's what I do, and I became aware of this project through you, Victoria, and I was like, what? And she encouraged me to submit for the project to be the illustrator, so I did, and here I am. So that's
And
who
here
I
we
am.
are. That's
Here
exciting.
we are.
Yeah. Well, I'm very glad. Thank you for sharing that with of your journey with us, and I'm glad that it brought you to Dottie because we
Yeah, me
wouldn't
too.
have the illustrations for Dottie without you being here. So that's awesome. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and I have the next question for the artist as well, and then we'll jump back to Jennifer. So the next question for you, April, is can you describe briefly the process it took to create Dottie and Opie once you got the story and you had an idea of what we were looking for, just that process of creating the characters of the story.
Well, when I first signed the contract to be the illustrator, I was freaking out because I'd never done this before. And I'm going, well, it can't be too much harder than just painting, right? So I read the story. I really enjoyed the story. And I thought, well, let me see what I can do about this. And I tried not to panic. And I just started researching before I even put pen to paper. I went and I researched a lot of spotted zebras and irregular zebras, striped zebras, and a herd of zebras, and then the hyenas that are the evil characters in this book that try to discourage Dottie. And I was like, oh man, I don't know how I'm going to do this. But I had to research a lot, and I practiced different ways of drawing Dottie and Obi until I got right down to the one that I liked, and until I was satisfied with their expressions and their personalities, and I wanted to make sure that it all fit with the story. And so that's how I did it. I kind of just one thing at a time, and I sketched and resketched and sketched and resketched until I was satisfied with what I thought was good for the story. So that's
thank you. And we were very happy with the end results too.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right, so my next question is for Jennifer. So Jennifer, what was your favorite part of the picture book process? From the beginning to end, what was the part that you enjoyed the most?
Well, speaking of the illustrations, that was probably my favorite part because even with my biblical fiction, I live with these characters for so long and they're so real to me and they're in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
But when I first saw Dottie just come to life, it was like, oh, there she is. Everyone else was going to be able to get to see what was going on inside of my head. So to be able to see Dottie and Obi and the herd and everything just come to life was just incredible for me. So I was very excited about that part of it.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. That is always a very special part to see it all come together. And then one more question for Jennifer. Do you have a favorite writing snack or drink when you're writing either picture books or your normal biblical fiction? Is there something you like to be sipping on or snacking on? Or are you like a no snack at all type of writer?
I am a no snack at all type of writer because it becomes a big distraction for me. I usually just have some water. I try to stay hydrated when I'm writing. But if I'm on a writing break or I've done a really, really good job, I love dark chocolate and I am a sucker for a frozen Coke from McDonald's.
Okay, awesome. Yes, I'm also a big dark chocolate fan. Anytime you want to reward me with dark chocolate, I am here for it. Awesome. All right, so let's come over to our artist, our illustrator. So my next question for you is, what was your favorite part of illustrating Dotty Makes a Difference?
My favorite part of illustrating Dottie was being able to use watercolors for it. It's my favorite medium, and I really was excited about using watercolor to bring the characters to life and then the landscapes. I know I love Jennifer because I've read a lot of her books and I love her a lot. And one of the things that she emphasized was that she wanted to showcase the African landscapes and colors in the book. So I was all in for that. I looked at so many beautiful landscapes from Africa. I wanted to go there myself because it was so pretty. And so I wanted to make sure that I did that for her, for the book, for the story, because that's what she wanted. And I really had fun creating the color palette and just making sure that it was consistent throughout the whole book. So that was my favorite part, doing that.
Awesome. Yeah, we love the landscapes. I don't know, maybe we'll have to plan an Africa trip one day. Just
Maybe.
take Dottie to Africa. That'd be fun. So my next question, also for the artist, is what was the most challenging part of illustrating Dotty Makes a Difference?
Well, the most challenging part for me was getting the characters to look consistent throughout the whole book. That was one of the hardest things because you had to make sure their snouts looked the same and that Dottie didn't look like Obi and vice versa on different pages, and I really had to try and focus on that. So that was difficult to do. I also had a difficult time with the hyenas because when I got to them, I kind of I put it off before when I had to get to the page where they started to appear in the book. I put it off. I put it to the side and I said, I don't know if I can do this part. So I had to take a deep breath and I had to I had to get the confidence to just start doing it. So I did research a lot of hyenas too. In this book, I researched everything, and I finally got them. I didn't want them to look too scary, so it give the children nightmares. I didn't want it to give them nightmares, but I also didn't want them to look too cartoonish, you know. So I kind of think I found a balance with for the characters, and it was fun. So those two things are the most difficult things I think that I
Gotcha.
had.
Okay. And you did well. They weren't too scary. So
Yeah, they were
that's the
so
good part.
scary.
We don't want them throwing the book, it was too scary. Poor hyenas. They definitely were not very happy characters in this story. Someone needs to write a happy hyena
Yeah,
story.
yeah,
Something
you
about laughter. All right, so the next two questions are for Jennifer. So the next question for Jennifer is, what surprised you most while you were writing and researching this story?
Probably the thing that surprised me most was how few words I got when I had to write this story. I am a word nerd. I love words. I love learning about words and where they come from and being able to use them. So I write thousands of words. And then when I came to this book, it was, oh, you only get about 700 words
Oh
to tell
dear.
a whole story. And so we did a lot of rounds of editing on Dottie because I did not want to give up my words. They were so pretty. So that was probably one of the most challenging things was having to cut so much words and let the illustrations speak. So I love dialogue, so I'm glad we got to keep so much dialogue that I wrote, and then allow the illustrations to just beautifully tell the story alongside of all of the dialogue. So yeah, that was a hard thing for me to do.
Very understandable. Yes, that was the hard part. And I think even once the illustrations came in, we were able to take off even more. So, but yeah, I get that. As someone who loves words too, that's the hard part. But you did it well, and we got it to where it needed to be. So, um, and then this next question for Jennifer is I understand you are both a self published author, and now through Dottie, you are a traditionally published author. So, coming from both sides of publishing, what are some pros and cons that you would give for both sides of the business?
There's definitely pros and cons to both sides. I don't think that there's one perfect way for every writer or every story.
Mm-hmm.
So some of the pros of being a self-published author is that I get to control a lot of the decisions. So I get to tell the story that I want to tell, when I want to tell it, how I want to tell it, what I want it to look like, when I want it to come out. So I kind of have all of those decisions and all of that control. But the con of that is I am responsible for everything. So if something goes wrong or I have an issue come up, it's all on me. And so or if a book doesn't do well, it's all on me. And so being a traditionally published author now, one of my favorite parts was getting to work with the team at Goodly Heritage Press. I knew that no matter what was going to happen and what step we were on in this project, that there was a team behind me, that there were incredible people who were working hard to get this book out there, incredible illustrator and editors and marketing team. So that was definitely a plus for being able to have this traditionally published book out there is was working with this incredible team.
Awesome. Yeah, we were very happy to support you. And I think that's very important, is just pointing out that there's no one path for everyone. So if you're interested in self publishing or traditional publishing, Jennifer might be someone to talk to. She has experience in both now. Um, but yeah, thank you for sharing that with us, Jennifer. Okay, so the next question is kind of for both of you. So one big part of the story is that Dottie has her friend Obi, and she wouldn't have gotten anywhere without Obi and his encouragement. So my question for both of you, and we'll go ahead and start with April and then finish with Jennifer, is there a person or people that encourage you when you need it most on either your artist journey or your author journey? So April, I'll let you go ahead and start with the answer for that one.
Okay. Um, Honestly, I definitely have to say that my family and my daughters are the ones who have encouraged me along the way, especially over the past 10, 11 years. It's been very, very encouraging to me for them to push me along in doing things that I had to put aside once in my life. And so it was encouraging to me when I started to struggle with the illustrations, or anytime I started to try to struggle with something that I am thinking of doing artistically or otherwise. They're always saying, "Oh, Mom, you can do this. I have confidence in you. Just be confident. God's got you." And they're always encouraging me, and I really appreciate that a lot. And I also, my pastor's wife is a great encourager to me. So my daughters have kind of like been encouraging me to do this watercolor workshop opportunity that came up recently, and I didn't want to do it, and they pushed me into doing it. So now I'm doing it for the summer. So I'm excited about that. But my pastor's wife also has been a great encouragement to me. She prays for me, and she encourages me along the way, and she also encouraged me to do this workshop and to step out of my comfort zone and to do it. So those are the people that encourage me a lot. So.
Awesome. I'm glad you have those people in your life for sure. And then what about you, Jennifer?
My biggest encourager is my husband, Alan. Every step of my writing journey, he's been there. He has pushed me when I didn't, when I wanted to give up. He's been with me every time I've needed to bounce ideas around or had plot holes that I couldn't figure out how to get out of. He just sits there and listens and encourages me to keep going and to keep figuring it out. So he's been with me as my biggest encourager, and he reads every single book before the world gets to read it. So he's also one of my biggest fans.
Oh, awesome. Well, I'm glad to hear that y'all have that encouragement behind you. And that, of course, is a big theme of Dottie because, I love Obi. She would be nowhere with Obi, even though he had his moment, he was scared, but they were there for each other, and his encouragement was really big for her. So, um, let's see. I think we have a few more minutes. I'm going to check the comments real quick and see if we have anything there. Okay. We don't have anything in the comments yet. What we are going to do is if we don't have any comments today for the giveaway, we'll go ahead and in the next 24 hours, anyone who comments in the YouTube video, they'll be entered for the giveaway, and then we'll announce that on our social media. So if you know anybody who couldn't make it and they want to watch the rewatch, then we'll be able to do it that way. So I think we have time for one more, maybe two questions. I'm going to do this question first, and if we have time for one more, then we'll do that last question. So this is also for both of you, but in different ways. So for you, for the artist and the author, what is advice that you would give to either an aspiring writer or an aspiring author? So maybe just one piece of advice that if an artist was thinking of getting started or an author was thinking of getting started, what advice would you give them? And we'll go ahead and we'll start with you, April.
Okay, me first. Okay. I would just say do it. Don't be afraid of trying new things. If you have in your heart to learn to paint or draw or anything like that, just do it. Don't be afraid to learn new techniques, to learn a new medium. Just step out of your comfort zone, as people are always telling me. One of my mantras is I can do hard things. I even have a mug that says I can do hard things. So when I get frustrated, I have that mug and I can encourage myself to just do it. So just go out and do it. If you're willing to put in the work, just do it, and you'll probably surprise yourself at how well you'll do. So
thank you for that. Hopefully an artist is out there inspired now to go and pursue their art dreams. And then what about you, Jennifer, for an aspiring writer, whether it's traditional publishing, children's book, just a writer in general, what advice would you give them?
If I had to give a piece of advice to any writer out there, no matter what journey or what step of the journey that they're on, is to stay teachable. There's so much to learn in this industry. And I have seen a lot of writers come and go. And one of the things that is always most successful is stay teachable, stay willing to learn, and learn all you can about your genre in this industry.
yeah.
Awesome. And that's very important, definitely. Even as an acquisitions editor, that's what we're always looking for, people who are teachable. It does look like we're about to run out of time for the interview. So because we didn't get any comments right now, again, we're going to reshare the replay. And then in the next 24 hours, whoever comments in this section or in the video, we will be picking one person in 24 hours for the giveaway. We do have a hardcover of Dotty Makes a Difference that will be shipping out in July, so we'll have that for our winner. And then our artist has created an art print, a surprise art print, that she'll be able to send to the winner as well. So you'll have a special art piece from the Illustrator. Well, thank you so much, Jennifer and April, for coming on here for this interview. I'm so excited to see where Dotty goes, and I hope it just continues to encourage others, children and adults alike, to just embrace their differences and remember that God has a purpose for everything. So I hope you all have a good evening, and thank you for being here.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having
Jennifer.
us.
Thank you, April.
Bye. Nice to see you, Jennifer.
Nice to see you too.
Ooh.